Great event. We're here to celebrate opening this building that is for affordable. It's affordable to everybody. And we have Oscar James, who's a community legend, who's the namesake of the building. So just a great day.
Good to see you. How does it feel?
It feels nice. It feels nice.
Yes.
But the most important thing is the shoulders that I stand on. You know, for the our parents and grandparents and uncles and aunts and
Yes.
community leaders that had went on.
Yes.
It's a blessing to represent them today.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
It's a
sir.
great day
Yeah,
for,
great day.
it's a great day to get the honor to recognize and celebrate the life and the accomplishment of a great man in our community that has given so much, and he continues to mentor everyone. He's there at his age, and so we thank God for Mr. Oscar James and his family.
Well, this beautiful project is the result of a long-standing belief that affordable housing should be the best housing in the neighborhood. It should set the standard for everything else. And these buildings had a great client, a great sponsor, Jonathan Rose Company, and an incredible team of builders from NIBI. Usually, at the end of a project, the architect walks around looking for flaws. And walking around this, there were no flaws. There was just a sense of pride and accomplishment and care and joyousness on the part of everybody who was involved. In the last construction visit here, NIBI had a lunch, and there were 176 people working on the site that day. And to see 176 people working with all their skill to realize one's dream as an architect was a great thrill. Well, both of these buildings have little discoveries you make as you walk through them. And I think people will live here for months before and they'll still be finding little surprises that we worked on carefully.
What's your favorite part of the building?
Favorite part of this building, I'd say, is the lobby entrance and its relationship to the courtyard.
Hi, good day. My name is Miguel Bustos. I'm the Archdeacon for the Episcopal Diocese of California. But for today's event, most importantly, I was a commissioner for about 13 years on the former Redevelopment Commission and then OCII, and helped approve this project with the fellow commissioners, but also with the community. So we are delighted, and I'm thrilled to be here because this is what the community needs. But what's special to my heart is that it's named after Oscar James. Oscar James was a former staffer of the Redevelopment Agency, and then when he retired, a constant voice at our meetings, fighting for the causes of a community that needs it. I'm a native San Franciscan from the Mission District, so I always appreciated Oscar's voice in the room. So I am delighted to be here. Thank God this is happening, and more good things are happening in the Bayview.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm Kathy Davis. I'm Executive Director of Bayview Senior Services. Hey, hey. The first thing I want to say is that we stand on the native land inhabited by the Ohlone Indians, who were the first Americans to live here. All right. We honor the shipyard history of the workers who migrated here from the 40s and 50s, and we are here to appreciate the contributions of our living legacy, Oscar James, who has always advocated for a safe and healthy community. And we are here to celebrate the new residents who get to live in this beautiful space that has been built to create a new era of community engagement. So first up, I'm going to thank Mr. Thor Keselowski, who is the Director of the Office of Infrastructure and Community Investment. And he is a stand for community. Before he got that job, we knew him in the neighborhood because he was always going to those community meetings, those 5,000 community meetings that some of us went to. Thor was there with us before he got the big job. And he is also a strong advocate for certificate of preference holders, which we really appreciate because we were able to get, I think, around 30 certificate of preference holders to live in this building. So thank you, Thor, and you can come on up.
Hey, Thor. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Kathy. Thor Keselowski, Executive Director of the Office of Community Investment and Infrastructure. I want to thank Kathy. I want to thank Jonathan Rose. Today is such a huge day. We have the great honor to honor Oscar James, lifelong resident, living monument. And I've got the great honor to introduce the mayor of San Francisco, the 46th mayor. He is leading us on the rise, uplifting the city, Mr. Daniel Lurie.
Thank you, Thor. I appreciate your hard work. Good morning, everyone. It is great to be back in Hunters Point. This is the 6th groundbreaking or opening that I've attended in the past month, many with our supervisor, Shamont Walton. Today, I am proud, Mr. James, I am proud and honored to open the Oscar James Residence, which brings another 112 units of affordable housing. So thank you. And I know that doesn't happen without Pat. So let's remember that too. This project is named after Oscar James, as you all know, but some don't, a prominent figure in San Francisco politics. He has been a leader in Bayview Hunters Point for decades, serving on the board of directors for the Bayview Senior Services and advancing efforts towards racial justice and housing affordability. For over 50 years, Oscar has dedicated himself to this community and to our great city. His activism still advances initiatives that matter to all San Franciscans: housing, care, and community-led decision-making. The homes here in Hunters Point reflect Oscar's vision, and the work is not done. Our administration will continue advancing projects that center affordable housing around the communities they serve, planning for more homes across the city so that San Franciscans can afford to live where they work. Our family zoning plan will help make that possible. We are also working with our federal, state, and community partners to build housing here and make sure it is safe for the whole community. We'll keep partnering with organizations that stand with our neighborhoods and make sure San Franciscans can afford to stay and thrive in their communities. I'd like to recognize the Bayview Senior Services for their partnership in providing on-site resident services and helping bring this project to life. Thank you. And this effort was also made possible through the incredible support of our partners. This is Jonathan Rose's company's first ground-up San Francisco development, and we look forward to continuing our partnership to expand affordable housing across San Francisco. So, on behalf of a grateful city, to everybody that made this project happen, and to you, Mr. Oscar James, thank you. And thank you all for being here today to help create more affordable homes here in San Francisco.
Are we ready? 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. We appreciate you. We're going to have Thor come back up and talk about more about what OCII's contribution has been to this project.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You have a good rest of your day. Everybody, just give a round of applause for the mayor, please. So, it's really a great honor to be opening up today's event. This residence here is one of the most beautiful buildings in this community, in one of the most beautiful communities in the city. In fact, I think the world, the mayor would agree. But it wasn't the case decades ago. This was a bustling Navy hub built up during World War II, and it became a beacon for Black families to come here to find hope and opportunity. These folks who came, they helped build this very city, this place that we're living in. After the shipyard closed in 1974, the place sat vacant for decades. It was cut off from the very community that helped it thrive in the first place. But in the late 90s, OCII, then the redevelopment agency in Lennar, launched this first phase of infrastructure, parks, and housing. And it enabled our incredible partners, Jonathan Rose and Bayview Senior Services, with Kathy, to build the affordable homes that we're in today. I also want to thank the team that helped bring this together from OCII. I want to thank Elizabeth Colomello, Jasmine Crow, Alicia Andrews, Pam Sims. We have Alok Vyas, George Bridges, Maria Pico. Those are the folks who stand behind me, and I want to give them a quick round of applause. There's no I in OCII. There's just a team. Well, this laid the groundwork for this overall Hunters Point Shipyard and Candlestick development. That's with 5 Point, and it's not just another development. It's the largest in the entire city. It's a legacy project that reflects the very best of what we can achieve when we work together with the community's vision at the forefront. You see, economic recovery is a key goal of the city. And this project is a major driver of what we hope to achieve. 20,000 jobs over time, 4.5 billion, with a B, economic development impact that would uplift the city and Bayview in particular. OCII's commitment is stronger than ever. In fact, since 2012, our projects have awarded nearly $1 billion to local businesses. We've put $170 million in the pockets of San Francisco residents in local wages through our programs. I want to acknowledge, we have a commission, I want to acknowledge them, some of them who are here. We have Chair Carolyn Scott. If you could just raise your hand, please. Vice Chair Commissioner Kino, if you could just raise your hand, please. Commissioner Shattuck, I see you. Raise your hand. And I don't believe Commissioner Miller or Lim are here, but raise your hand if I don't see you. I also want to acknowledge the former chair, Miguel Bustos. If you raise your hand. Reverend Bustos was the chair when this was being developed and approved. I want to say just a few words about Oscar James. I was hired November 9th, 2005 at the redevelopment agency. Aside from the director and the interview panel who met me, he was the first person who came over to my desk and said, "Young man, I hear you're working on the Hunters Point Shipyard and Bayview Hunters Point. I need to talk to you." And I said, "Who are you?" He said, "I'm Oscar James. I was born and raised here." And I learned from that moment, I have never stopped going to school. I think I have a PhD at this point with you. But he is a part of the neighborhood's living memory. He's been an advocate for justice, calling for community control of the shipyard before that was even a concept. From paper routes to different policy boards to his longevity working at the redevelopment agency, he never shied away from advocating for local hiring, for local contracting and local employment, for arguing for returning of the displaced residents that had been displaced by redevelopment back in the day. And whether he's leading a tour or serving up ribs, he brought soul and heart to everything that he did. He's not just a man, he's a monument. And quite literally today, we are securing his legacy by opening up this residence. So we're gonna dedicate this building in his honor, these two buildings. And I wanna finally thank Jonathan Rose again and Kathy at Baby Senior Services for helping us put this together, making this neighborhood proud. I don't wanna introduce somebody, but I wanna acknowledge who she works with before I do that. I'm gonna introduce Dr. Verona Honeycutt, who is the mayor's Hunters Point Shipyard chair. I'm gonna acknowledge the Citizen Advisory Committee that has been meeting for decades, advocating, arguing for this community, making sure that people get opportunities. I wanna acknowledge Joyce Armstrong, Servio Gomez, Pastor Josiah Bell, I see you, Debria Smith, Neola Gans, Fala Sate, and Malik Senef, who were recently appointed. And with that, Dr. Honeycutt, would you please come up and bless us with your words and presence?
Good morning to all of you. Good morning. And I was going to say a big welcome to our beloved Mayor Lurie, but he has to move on. But nevertheless, I know someone will share that information with him. I would like to give a shout out to OCII Director Thor Kozlowski for his excellent work in the community, his creativity, and innovation, and his approach to leadership, which is brilliant.
Amen.
Thank you. And I'd like to give kudos to the OCII staff, Lila Hussein and others. Elizabeth's here, and probably Pam and the rest of you. Thank you for being present today, and thank you for your work. My name is Dr. Veronica Honeycutt. That's two T's on the end, by the way. All right. Not one, two. Gotta honor my daddy. Okay, I am the chair of the Hunters Point Shipyard Citizens Advisory Committee. In anticipation of the cleanup and development of the shipyard, the HPS-CAC was created decades ago to facilitate shareholders' involvement and participation. The Candlestick Point development is also under the HPS-CAC community's oversight. For decades now, the HPS-CAC has been a strong advocate for housing, local hiring, and workforce development. We are very proud of our contributions. And I see our local contractors here today and community stakeholders who attend our meetings on a regular basis, in the audience today. They collaborate with the HPS-CAC to accomplish our objectives. Now, all these years, Mr. Oscar James has been a consistent, steady voice at the HPS-CAC. He's been with us. He is an icon in our community. He's a profound advocate. He's a man who has dedicated his life to helping others. He's a proven leader, a successful entrepreneur, and an outstanding family man. Okay? He has deep roots in the Bayview, but his influence reaches across the city and throughout the city and county of San Francisco. Okay? Now, when I spoke to Oscar earlier this week, I said to him, Oscar, what are 3 accomplishments that you really enjoyed doing and enjoyed accomplishing? So the 3 projects that he mentioned were creating the Young Community Developers Organization. Okay, you didn't know he did that. Working with contractors and small business people to get job opportunities. Yes, he did that too. and making sure people in the community know our history in the Bayview, with an emphasis on Black mothers, in particular the Christmas Addicts Club, which is now the 100% college track. Now see, Oscar did all of that. Okay? We applaud you, Mr. James. We thank you for your years of contributions. And we thank you for teaching our young people. We recognize your continued teaching and mentoring of them. You're still very active, ensuring we stay focused and still fighting for equity. And you told me in my little brief interview with you that you want our young people to pick the hammer up and do things for themselves. Mr. Oscar James, your father was a legend whose legacy is already in the history books. He was a part of the elite workers that built the shipyard. Today, his son, you, Oscar James, is being recognized. What a blessing. The Oscar James Apartment is a lasting and befitting recognition, and it's also a proud reminder of the African Americans' contributions to the city and county of San Francisco, especially in the Bayview Hunters Point area. On September 25th, just a few weeks ago, a couple blocks from this place, Doris Vincent Housing Complex was officially opened. And I had tears in my eyes because Doris was not there to witness the grand occasion. Today, Mr. Oscar James is sitting right here with his wonderful family, members of the HPSCAC, and the community members that hold him in high regards. Okay, we thank God for this opportunity of a lifetime. I would like to acknowledge and thank the board of the Bayview Multi-Purpose Senior Center and its brilliant and wonderful Executive Director, Kathy Davis, for upholding the memory and legacy of the wonderful man, the late Dr. George Davis, another African-American legend and icon, without whose vision to provide care, dignity, and housing for our seniors, we would not be here today. Kathy has worked hard in this community for our seniors in so many ways. In Dr. Davis's absence, the Bayview Multi-Purpose Seniors Organization has stayed true to his mission. Today is a testament of that. And to all you young people out there, please take the time to learn about Mr. Oscar James. In order for you to be what? To be successful in your endeavors and to gain wisdom and knowledge from the elders. And kudos to all of you who are in partnership arrangements with the HPSCAC. I want to acknowledge a wonderful man who is here today and who has made a tremendous contribution to the HPSCAC, and that's Pastor Josiah Bell. I know where to find him because Kathy has told me that he is now living in the Bayview Multi-Purpose Senior Center. Thank you, Kathy. Kathy keeps me up to date on where everybody is. Okay, don't try to hide from me. Okay, and together we will create more opportunities for local hiring, workforce development and training for our youth and our adults. And definitely, we need more housing for everyone. That's why this is so wonderful today. Our local contractors, and Demetrius, you're back there.
Yes.
Stand up, Demetrius. Let them see you. Let them see you. Any other contractors, small business contractors who are working with HPSCAC to make sure that you get access to hiring opportunities with all of this work being done in the Bayview.
Yes.
Stand up and attend our meetings. I'm gonna say that again to you right now, I'm off script. Okay, the HPSCAC has 3 meetings: housing, environmental reuse, and business and employment. Okay, you need to attend those meetings. Don't listen to this random madness that's going out, about what's happening. Be there, talk to the people who are there. The Navy's there, the regulators, EPA, DSTS, all of them are there. LaShawn Walker, that chief honcho over there with 5 Point. Okay, she's in attendance. Okay, so get the right information, folks. Please don't listen to random madness of people who are just trying to capitalize off the project and keep it from actually coming to fruition. I'm back on script. Okay. Congratulations, Mr. Oscar James, for being a partner to the HPSCAC's mission. Congratulations for your life of integrity and purpose. May God continue to bless you and your family. And I want to thank all of you for the opportunity to speak to this brilliant man, this wonderful man who's given his life to this community. Yes. And to all of you today. We've got work to do. Let's do it together.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Honeycutt. Got everybody in line now. All right, so I have to talk about my partner, Jonathan Rose. But I can't talk about my partner, Jonathan Rose, without talking about Yusef Freeman, the gentleman in the corner here. Because if it wasn't for Yusef Freeman, I never would have gotten that phone call that said, Kathy, you want to build something in the shipyard? Like, sure. And that's what we did. And then our development partner backed out, and Yusef came back with Jonathan Rose to finish this project and to make it really happen. More about Yusef later. So I didn't know who Jonathan Rose was. Who's that? I found out they are great developers and partners. Jonathan Rose is the man. I mean, in New York City, and I have learned a lot about how he runs his business, the integrity that he brings to everything that he does, and our partnership with them has been stellar. His staff has been great. Sabrina, especially wonderful for us, wherever you are, Sabrina, we love you. And I just want to thank Jonathan for stepping up into the community and doing this, and being such a cheerleader for the community, like, Kathy, just go get it, it's fine, do what you have to do, and really supporting the work here so that we could have this beautiful, beautiful building. So with that, I will introduce my partner, Jonathan Rose.
So I'm going to go off script a little bit too, and Dr. Honeycutt, I want to thank you for your service. I want you to know that they misspelled my name also. So it's a badge of honor. But most importantly, I want everybody to check out her shoes. They are by far the best shoes here. And how you figured out how to match these without even knowing what we're going to have here, I'm really impressed. And Yusef, I really want to thank Yusef Freeman, an extraordinary human being who we had the pleasure of working with for a while, and who introduced us to Kathy. And although he didn't use these words, what he really meant was he said, I'm going to introduce you to a force of the universe that just happens to be disguised as a human being. And this force of the universe has been just the most extraordinary partner, and her team, not only Kathy, but Neil Hatton, Janet Brown, and Kenesha Roach. And you're just, your heart is, I have a friend who has he replaces the word me with we, M-W-E, because it's about an us versus, and you are total muiness. We should call you your muiness instead of your highness. And you just wrap all these things together. To Sabrina Barker, who's over here, who's been our team leader for the Johnson Brothers Company. Also on the team are Jenny Wu and Marcella Yee. Notice they're all women. And we'd really like to thank Dan Rosen and Emily Blumberg, who've been our attorneys on this. And lastly, before I get into the financials, this building is so beautiful. So Dan Solomon, who's our amazing architect with Methuen, has done such a beautiful job. There's something interesting about affordable housing. We have budgets that we all have to meet, and it's very interesting to me that you can meet the same budget with proportion and like, for example, just look at the acoustic stuff in the ceiling here, which represent the waves that are right outside, nearby. Like, that doesn't cost more, it just takes more thinking and more design integrity, and this building really reflects that. I want to thank our amazing funders, OCCI, Thor Kozlowski, who you heard from earlier, Elizabeth Camello, Pam Sims, Jasmine Kuo, and Alicia Andrews. Really fantastic partners, obviously not just on this project, but throughout the city. HCR, Sanjina Deswarga, Janine Acton, and Barbara Sargent. And lastly, the funder and tax credit buyer without whom this project could not happen, Bank of America. I'd like to thank Lisa Awaya, Erin Gallagher, David Joyner, and Diane Parente-Miller, and introduce Robert Reinhardt, who's from the bank and here to speak.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Rob Reinhardt, Bank of America, Senior Vice President, Community Development Banking. And on behalf of my teammates, and I want to thank all of you coming here today to join us to help celebrate this wonderful new development, Oscar James Residences. And we're also celebrating here the new 112 dignified, affordable homes. Bank of America is proud to be a financial partner in this public-private partnership, and also helping to transform the site. I want to take a few moments to congratulate Oscar James, Jonathan Rose, Sabrina Barker, Thor and his team at OCII, HCD, and all the other terrific partners that made this project become a reality. At Bank of America, we're looking forward to supporting the building of more affordable housing throughout San Francisco. And again, please join me in congratulating the entire development team of Oscar James Residences.
Okay, all right, so we are going to have a resident of this beautiful building come and speak about what it means to actually live here. And what I've seen just being in and out of this building is lots of wonderful children. This is a family building. There are 3, 4, and even a 5-bedroom units in this building. So Jamaica, you want to come on up and represent the residents? Right.
Y'all forgive me for not letting perimenopause get a hold of me. Have to write it down. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Jamaica Taylor. I am the Education Liaison and Director of the Willie Mays Boys and Girls Club right up the street on Kiska. Thank you. I am also a very proud mother of 3. No, that's the big clap. and a photographer in training. But today I stand before you as a extremely proud and grateful resident of the Oscar James Apartments. For me and my family, living here has been nothing short of a blessing. I grew up in San Francisco, and being able to raise my kids in the same community is outstanding. With affordable housing, and adequate space. Most of the time you trade one for the other. So that adequate space is tremendous for us. And it's something that I will never take for granted. Our home here at Oscar James has been everything that we need to has everything that we need to live with dignity and comfort. It has a gym. I may or may not use it. But I definitely will use the on-site laundry and the community room where we all can gather and connect. The neighborhood is full of life and love with pocket parks that my little Chihuahua Hercules can enjoy. I know y'all heard them before, sorry. Playgrounds for my little ones. And when I need to escape, the beautiful views of the water is where I go. The process of getting here wasn't difficult at all. All the ladies in the office were so helpful, knowledgeable, and genuinely friendly. I didn't feel like anybody was putting on a show or just being professional. Everybody welcomed us with warm smiles, open arms, and was able to answer any questions that I had. They made me feel like the stressful journey of looking for a place to live had hope, and that hope meant everything to me and my children, because my story did not start here. It started with a lot of transition and uncertainty, and y'all pray that I keep it together. After a divorce, I went from a 2-income household in the Vallejo suburbs to being a single mother of 3 at 40 years old. And then having to move in with my sister and her 2 kids in a 2-bedroom apartment. And my son is 19, so it's not like he wasn't aware of what was going on. So that was a humbling experience. I was blindsided when I found out through a 3-day notice that my then husband wasn't paying the rent during COVID. And for someone with anxiety, that is huge, it's huge, period, but it was catastrophic for me and my children. And at the same time, I was working out here, right up the street at Kiska, 2 blocks away, pouring into other people's children, but not knowing how I was gonna be able to pour into mine. So, when I say this move has changed everything, I literally mean it from the bottom of my heart. Living here in this community, literally 3 minutes from where I worked, bought me back time with my kids. I'm able to cook dinner and eat before 10 o'clock at night. And that's big because I have a son who has a gluten allergy, and takeout is not friendly to those of us with gluten allergies. I'm able to have tea parties with my baby girl in her soon-to-be ultra girly pink room. She has been waiting to have her own room. And when my son comes home from UC Davis, he is able to watch movies with mama. And for my baby boy, who is neurodivergent, who needs a space of his own when the world gets too loud, he has a space of his own. My prayer is that this development continues to open doors for other families like mine, families who are hardworking, doing their best, and just need a little chance for stability to rebuild their lives. I hope it brings the same peace, pride, and possibility that it has brought to us. Because when families have secure, come on, Oscar. Come on, Mr. James. Listen, secure, affordable homes. Everything else, like our jobs, our health, and our joy, can finally begin to grow again. Thank you. This home has brought peace, stability, and joy back into our lives, and it is a reminder that when things fall apart, that they can truly come together again in even better ways, exceedingly and abundantly. Y'all, okay, I'm trying. I am forever grateful to everyone who has played a role in making this possible for me and my babies, and for allowing God to use you to do that, as the scripture says, to allow all things, all of my things, to come together. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamaica. That was beautiful. Okay, now I get to introduce my favorite supervisor, who's been going to a lot of ribbon cuttings, like you've been everywhere too. Every time you turn around, Shamon's cutting a ribbon in D10. And every ribbon he cuts, his staff has been behind something happening in that building, making sure that it was right. So we are very blessed to have Shamon Walton as the supervisor in District 10. He believes in everything we're doing here. And he is a part of everything we're all doing. So I'm gonna give it to Shamon, who's gonna have the honor of introducing Oscar James.
Good morning. First of all, I just want to start off by saying that Thor is not doing his job. I'm not doing my job. The mayor is not doing his job. Cheryl and LaShawn, who worked to make this happen, they're not doing their job if people like Jamaica don't have a place to stay. You can go across San Francisco and there are a lot of priorities that people have. And for me, it's always been about affordability here in this city. And the fact that we have people who can live and work in their same community is major. So that's why we do this work. There are so many people I see out here that played a role in not only making sure that Oscar James residence exists, but the very first affordable housing right here on the shipyard across the street. Obviously, Doris Vinson. So many people in this room played a role in making that happen. So I'm not gonna name names, but I do want all of you to know that I see you. Thor named a lot of people earlier, but if you look at these amazing spaces that are made for families right here in community, a lot of history went into making this happen. And some people here know the history. Some people here just see the fact that we are able to build affordable housing here in this community. But there was a time where none of this existed. And it was not too long ago. And just to see so many things come into fruition, just to see the places and the residents right here that are affordable for communities is something that we can be proud about. We have affordable housing here. We have home ownership here. We have nothing but community here. But you cannot talk about history on this shipyard. You cannot talk about history and Bayview Hunters Point without talking about Mr. Oscar James. I thought we were doing something at the Board of Supervisors when we honored him a couple years ago at the Board of Supervisors, because obviously I wanted to make sure that we gave him his flowers while he was still here. But this tops it, because all of the work he did with the redevelopment agency, all the work he continues to do in making sure that people in this community understand the history. He's a true walking encyclopedia.
For you young folks, that's a book we used to use to research. But he is a true walking encyclopedia. He always has photographs of history. He always has newspaper clippings of history. He maintains that history so that we all can know who fought for us here in this community, who continues to fight for us here in this community. And we don't have a lot of people still like that. So I want to thank you, Mr. James, for continuing to carry the legacy of Bayview Hunters Point literally in your pocket. And before I bring up Mr. James, I do just want to congratulate the Bayview Hunters Point Multi-Senior Service Center. A lot of people, give them a hand. Community, and we want to make sure people get their certificate of preference. Make sure that we are able to fill up these residents with the people who are literally from these communities. Bayview Hunters Point Multi-Senior Services is right there, getting the information out and making sure that people are from this community actually have a place to live. So I want to thank you for that. Bayview Hunters Point Multi-Senior Services builds housing. 3rd Street Youth Clinic builds housing. Young Community Developers builds housing. We have a lot of community partners that are doing what people can't do on the other side of town. They tell you we can't build in San Francisco, but like Kathy said, we continue to cut ribbons because of the resiliency of this community and the fact that people do understand that the bottom line is finding a place for folks to be able to live so we can stay here in San Francisco. This building is named after you because of all of your work in community, because we want to make sure that you have your flowers while you are still with us, because you continue to carry the legacy of Bayview Hunters Point, and you do it so gracefully, and you do it every day. So one, I want to say congratulations on this namesake, because we want to make sure we continue to remember your legacy. And I want to bring you up so you can talk to the people. Mr. Oscar James.
Thank you, everyone. First of all, I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, who make everything possible. Each morning I wake up, I ask for an assignment from Him. And sometimes I get out and I ask, first of all, Lord, to tame my tongue. Okay, because I was born and raised in Hunters Point, and I came from clubs. I came from community organizations such as Joint Housing, such as EOC, and that was to change my life 58 years ago. And when it changed my life, it gave to me the love of my life for 58 years, my wife, Pat. That I do. You know, I go to meetings, and I hope other people's in this community, and we have a lot of young brothers, old brothers like Claude Carpenter out there, who go to meetings. But we need more people to come to these meetings so they can see, the young people can see what we're doing in their behalf. I stand on older people who has gone on, Miss Westbrook, Miss Essie Webb, and a lot of others. I stand on their shoulders. And each day I get out and start doing what I do for them and for my community, whichever color, race, or whatever. I want to thank the developers. I want to thank the architects. I want to thank everyone who had a part of putting this building together for the betterment of the Bayview Hunters Point community. You know, I go back to 1955, and I don't want people to get upset when we had the first white flight, when people was left out of this community who couldn't afford to leave out of this community. My mother tried to leave out of this community because of segregation. We still stayed in Bayview Hunters Point, which I was the happiest person in the world that we were still here. Because the fight I've seen growing up a lot of my friends who were not allowed, fathers were not allowed to be in these homes, had to leave this community. A lot of them stayed in boxcars down at Dr. Davis and down at Lefty Dual Bridge in the boxcars because they couldn't stay with their families because of the new welfare system. Okay, I've seen that growing up, and it made me bitter. It made a lot of persons my age bitter. And we as young people at that time, 9, 10 years old, said it wasn't gonna happen to us. We were gonna make a change. We organized and started clubs and what have you. People thought we were bad boys, but we were fighting for our community. Okay? When the buses wasn't allowed to run up here on this hill, we used to carry the mothers, grandmothers' bags up the hill. You know, they call us bad boys with our little club jackets on and stuff, but we were fighting for this community. My whole commitment and my desire is to make this community that's my commitment. I work with a group called Uri. Every Thursday we give out food, and I like for the Uri members to stand up. Okay, can you do that for me, please? We have one girl in the back, Franklin McCoy, who grew up in this community, who fought for this community, and who has given his life in this community. We have young brothers, contractors. We have the hyper-locals that meet every Tuesday, 8 o'clock at the Southeast Health Center to help get contracts so we can train our brothers and sisters in this community in different trades, plumbing, carpentry, and what have you. A lot of our people don't want to go to college, but they need to have a trade. They need to feed their families. And if we don't change that and make it possible for the young people in this community to see what we're doing to make their lives better, then they'll see a future for themselves from what we do. So what I'm asking everyone, I don't care how old you are, I don't care how young you are, start coming to these meetings. Because it's one thing to sit on the outside and say what somebody else is not doing. Talk about Shimon, talk about the different people who do things in this community, and they're doing their best. But they can only do their best because of us in their ears telling them what to do. I think Thor, before he became a director, when he first came out, he told half of the story. When he first came out, he was a property manager, assistant property manager at that. Running under somebody else. I put him in my car, my truck, and I rode around all of the areas and showing him what our commitment was. A lot of people don't know where Thor's genes come from. Thor's father was, his uncle, the great Alexander Leostorff. Okay, the first one is to open a public school in San Francisco for everyone to go to. Okay, we have to know our history. We have to know what people are doing. When he comes back from New York and come in this community and work, and I burned his ears, okay, because he's coming in my community, and I want to make sure he do what we want him to do. And he has been a blessing to each one of us in this community. You know, I asked the Lord to guide my tongue, and I want to give recognition to my family that's sitting over here. That I'm so proud. I had 5 brothers. They're part of this community. 2 of them's in heaven right now looking down at us. And my tongue gets tired. But with their strength, my little nephews I've just met today, who's going to college and what have you, I'm so proud of. I have another niece who's a doctor. My oldest brother's daughter is a doctor. Those are the things that can happen in this community. And those are the things that we need to teach these young kids. I don't care, like I said before, I don't care what color or anything else. When I grew up in this community, before the white flight, everybody was up here. We had Jews, we had, what they call it, Polacks, and every race that was up here, and we lived as a family. Nobody locked their doors. When the Iceman came and brought ice to our house before, ice boxes, you people know, it was ice box. We had ice box. They brought the ice. And when people couldn't pay for their ice, we split ice. Okay, we split sugar. You know, we had people come from the South who were highly educated. They didn't just come up from the cotton fields. They came here from Southern University, from Fisk, and all these other, and were denied the opportunities to do the things that we have the opportunity to do today. Okay? And I get sick and tired of our young brothers not knowing that history. Yeah. And all these brothers who went and sisters who went and got degrees and come back to our community to show what we can do as a family. We're a family. You know, and we have different organizations such as A for the Randolph. I see James out there that comes in and try and train people with young community developers. And we need to have the programs that our foreparents, the people who I stayed on shoulders, Miss Essie Webb and Miss Dunbar, and all of them who created different programs. Because when when I got out of school, they didn't have no jobs. They wanted to send me to Vietnam, which I didn't go, because there was a war here. And I fought this war here, okay? But at the same time, what I was fighting is to make sure the opportunities came back here to this community. And because of those persons whose shoulders I stand on, a lot of things have came. Now contracts to come, I found out there's a lot of our contractors, black contractors, painted this building, did doors in this building, okay? In the Southeast, they helped build that building. They can do the work, okay? And they can train the people in our community that look like us to get these jobs, okay? And the opportunity is here, and we're not just asking, we're demanding that our persons, our peoples, get these contracts so we can hire our brothers and sisters and put money into these colleges and stuff, okay? In the different trades to bring our peoples back. I see a lot of faces who I really love. One of them, Miguel over there, who was the director of redevelopment, who made a lot of things happen. And when Miguel first came to redevelopment on the commission, I talked to him. Because see, I was in clubs when he was a little squirt. Okay? But I started a club in the Mission called the Marquis. Okay, and we fought Mexicans and blacks and whites. We fought for the betterment of Mission. When I got on the Model Cities Commission that started Young Community Developers in 21 programs in Bayview Hunters Point, plus 21 programs in the Mission Hiring Hall and what have you, came out of Model Cities. Out of $14 million that was given to Bayview Hunters Point. Okay, and then we extended our hands because Western Addition and Fillmore wouldn't pick it up. We gave it to the Mission. We gave it to the Mission. But our whole thing is this. If we don't look out for each other, who's gonna look out for us? Your president up there in the White House, he don't even want to feed our people who he's firing. Okay, so we have to make sure we stand together and stop worrying about race and creed and all this other stuff. Work together and become one strong unit. And before I leave, I want to thank this developer who came here and made these things possible. Okay? And made it possible for our young contractors to get some of this work. And that's what I'm looking for. And God bless each and every one of you, and thank you for coming.
Okay, Oscar the living legend. But what I get to say is that Oscar James is a board member of Bayview Hunters Point Multipurpose Senior Services, as is our board chair, Reverend Marvin Hall, stand up Reverend Hall, and our board member, Linda Richardson. They had to sign off on all this building that we're doing. And they're really cheering us on to do more and more. So I appreciate the board of directors, appreciate you being here, Reverend Hall, Linda, represent the board, and to cheer on Oscar, who always brings wisdom to every board meeting we have. Okay, so, Yusef Freeman, who's Yusef Freeman? Yusef Freeman helped build Dr. Davis building, for one. His grandfather worked in the shipyard. So when Yusef got an opportunity to build something in the shipyard, it was personal for him. And we are so proud that he hung in there with us the whole time. to make sure that it happened. So USAP, props to you for everything you did to make this happen today. And then, this is the house that Nibby Baines built. Nibby and Baines, stand up. These two, Bob and Mike. They're the most polar opposite people you ever want to meet, and they have a heart of gold that matches each other. They are the driving force in making sure that community happens in the buildings we built with them. And they did that here as well. So we want to thank you, Nibby Baines. We want to thank all the contractors that are out there. We had a whole bunch of folks working from the community, including, let's see, we had Heavyweight Trucking and Spencer Masonry, AJS, a whole bunch of y'all were working on this building. And we appreciate, there was a lot of love put into this building. People would say to me, I'm building for my community. And we saw community people here, 50,000 hours of community people working on this building. So appreciate Nibby Baines more than you'll ever know. Invest the love you put into what you do. Okay, then I also want to thank the architects. And we have Mr. Daniel Solomon here from the Thune. And he and I were walking around, and he's in every corner of this building. He made sure things were the way they were. So if you want to talk about the beauty of this building, you have to thank Dan and his team from Bethune, which are all, raise your hands, Lisa and gang all here from Bethune. I want to thank you for respecting the community to build a building that looks like this. So thank you so, so much. Also want to thank our funders, OCII, Bank of America, and the San Francisco Housing Authority. I don't know if they're here, but I want to acknowledge that we have some deeply affordable units in these buildings because of the San Francisco Housing Authority. And I know Joaquin Torres had something to do with that. I also want to thank our staff of Bayview Senior Services. Now, when we do something at Bayview Senior Services, everybody does something around it. So my kitchen team's been in there cooking for 2 days, making sure you have some nice food. Our housing team has been on the ground to make sure people from the community got to live here. And that isn't just like telling people, you got to go all the way to the door with the key. And everything in between. So Janet Brown and her team, they're all in red. They all did a fabulous job. Good job over there. Also want to acknowledge that everybody thinks I do all this stuff alone, but I have a great leadership team at Bayview Senior Services, and they're here. They're all doing something. They're all working at something, so you can't really see them all. But I want to acknowledge Christy and Natalie and Chef Charles and everybody on my leadership team who supports the work that Bayview Senior Services gets to do. Now, before you leave, and we're going to have a closing prayer from Reverend Scott, on the back of your program is a list of names, because we couldn't acknowledge everybody and have everybody speak. If your name is on there, we have something for you. And you're going to go across the hall, and we have a little gift and a certificate to thank you from Bayview Senior Services for what you did to make this building happen. So you'll be getting your gift when you go across the hall. And lastly, I just want to thank everybody who worked on this project. People say it was 8 years in the making. It was, what, 40? Something like that. I'm looking at Reverend Bell, I'm looking at Oscar James. I mean, how many meetings did we all go to about the shipyard? Oh, we're going to build this, we're going to build that, we're going to have this, we're going to have that. Well, guess what? We got this. This is something we got. So lastly, to end this beautiful event, we have Reverend Scott. Now, Reverend Scott is the chair of the OCII Commission. But in the community, she is a born and raised Bayview Hunters Point die-hard community leader. She is our community pastor. When you need somebody to give you a lift up, to feel good about something, go see Reverend Scott. She's got something good to say all the time. So we thank you, Reverend Scott. We thank you for closing out this ceremony. When you get across the hall, I really want you to look at the Oscar James wall. There's a wall all about Oscar's life and history, and then there's a wall about the shipyard history. So while you go through, you get to see the legacy that was built out of this location, and hopefully you'll be able to learn something that maybe you didn't know before. So thank you for coming, and I'm going to have Reverend Scott close us out.
To God be the glory. To God be the glory. We didn't think, but we hoped. And God has gotten us here. And as Kathy has said, there's more to come. Thanks. More to come, OCII. More to come, CAC. More to come, Jonathan. More to come with all of our developers. Mercy and all. I'm honored humbly to do this dedication prayer. And when I think back in the 1940s when we moved here from the Fillmore district, and the rabbits and chickens were running around, cattle around, and here we are now with paved streets. Not with gold yet, but our paved streets, cars, housing. And we had to walk up the hills, walk up the stairs. Yes, we did. And it was just the way of life. But I'm grateful for where we are. And I'm grateful to hear this young woman's testimony of what God has brought her through. Will you bow your hearts and minds with me? As we bless this building, bless the residents and this community, the workers, and those that still have more to build. And as you think while I'm praying, you pray in your own way, but as you're meditating during this time, think about what meeting can I attend to help bring about more housing for families like Jamaica, more housing, more comfort, and more peace. I invite you to pray with me silently in your own cultural manner as I lead this prayer of blessings for peace, blessings for harmony and safety upon this building, the residents, the community, and that this building be a sanctuary filled with love and a real sense of community. Father, I ask for your blessings upon this apartment building, the whole complex, that it be a shelter providing a healthy environment and a resting place for wholeness. I pray that the building will usher in a spirit of humility, goodness, and gratitude toward you for your loving kindness. I pray, Father, for the residents, children, youth, adults of this building. I ask for your blessings upon each one that lives under its roof and sleeps within its walls. Father, I pray that you'll bless them all, give them comfort. Let, oh God, your joy and happiness reach their doorways. Be their shelter when they are at home, and be their companion when away. Be their welcome guest when they return. Father, I pray for the community and everyone related and connected to this community surrounding the buildings and those living here, that this may be a sanctuary where hearts and lives are knit together, where bonds of love are strengthened, where mercy is learned and practiced. Father, let this be a place of shared tears and laughter, a place where forgiveness is easily asked and granted, and wounds are quickly healed. Let this be your community. Let this be, oh God, an instrument of your peace, your love, your lasting mercy. Let no unending trouble linger without support, solutions, and your presence. For we know that your word says weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Father, let this be your lighthouse for this city and Bay Area. In Jesus' name I pray. And we all say, amen, amen.